Ta-da. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Endless Multiverse with your co-host Chainsaw Reacts and Andy, episode 55. We have a special guest, Chill Blaine, more like Thrill Blaine.
Yes.
How is everybody doing this week?
A little warm.
Okay, it's definitely getting warmer here. It definitely is getting warmer here. We have to go buy an air conditioner tomorrow for the window. It's too damn hot in this house. How are you, Andy?
I'm tired. I need the semester to be over because school has been a lot. So yeah. Otherwise I'm good. I am good.
Okay, well, as long as you're still kicking and breathing, that's what matters. We have two main topics to talk about today, guys, because obviously with the writer's strike, which is our first topic, there is hardly any news that's really going on besides cancellations and renewals, which we have a CW to talk about after that. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to play the Constantine intro. We're going to dive right into our first topic, which of course is the writer's strike. Constantine, take it away.
All right then. On with the show.
Right then, on with the show indeed. So our first topic tonight is the writer's strike. Now, there's been a lot of discussion. I think Canada's opting to. I think he's writing a script right now as we speak.
I'm not allowed to write right now. I'm not allowed to work right now.
Well, technically you're in Canada, so you would be allowed.
Yeah, technically.
I actually think they're under the same agreement because it's the same writers union would write the shows in America and Canada, right? Like they hire their writers from America.
Well, I know, like for example, like something like Doctor Who, for example, like that show is written in England, so they are still able to shoot.
But yeah, England's a little different story though. It's not North America. Like 93% of what happens in Canada is influenced by American decisions. You know.
Okay, so there are already a lot of writers' room then in Canada. Then.
I would assume they're not allowed to have any of that stuff because it's still the WGA.
Yeah,
they might have some Canadian writers who somehow aren't connected to the WGA in some way because I don't think the WGA is specifically an American-only thing. But I don't know the specific details of all that stuff. I could probably find out in like 2 minutes, but I don't know that specifically.
Yeah, so this whole thing has been kind of crazy because the writer's strike was looming. They had been threatening to be going on a strike, and the hope was that they would be able to iron out a deal. And unfortunately, that did not happen. I actually found this tweet. It was released on May 2nd, and it was a list essentially of what they were offering, and they were wanting counter offers, which obviously the counter offers were not great. But I want to read off a couple of interesting things that we can kind of open up to discuss more. So in terms of episodic television, like just in general, writers are not paid like well enough. They're not paid hardly what they should be earning based off the revenue that these shows, make. But in terms of episodic television, this is really crazy to me. So pre-Greenlight rooms. So this is what the Writers Guild of America were offering in terms of this new deal. Minimum staff of 6 writers, including 4 writer-producers. And that's not too crazy to ask. 1 writer per episode, up to 6 episodes. So a writer's not going to be tasked for more than 6 episodes. Then 1 additional writer required for each 2 episodes, after 6 up to max of 12 writers. Example, 8 episodes require 7 writers, including 4 writer-producers. 10 episodes require 8 writers, including 5 writer-producers. What did the response back? Rejected proposal, refused to make a counter, which is not good because with these negotiations, there's always a compromise. You're never actually going to get what you want, but the fact that they're not even willing to respond to that is ridiculous. Minimum staff guaranteed at least 10 consecutive weeks of work, which means they actually want more time to actually write these shows. 1 writer per episode, up to 6 episodes, and additional it keeps on going. And saying writer on staff must get at least 3 weeks per episode, up to max of 52 weeks. So they want a writer at least given 3 weeks to, at minimum, write an episode of a show. Because it seems like now they're rushing writers to get stuff done. Half of the minimum staff must be employed through production because, as we know, 99% of the time when a show is in production, there are rewrites. There are changes. So to ask for like 1 or 2 writers is ridiculous. and one writer must be employed through post. Now, I don't know about that part because post-production, you might make a change in the edit, but I don't know if you need a writer necessarily unless it's a specific reasoning that they might want to call upon that particular writer. But having one writer to cover all the episodes in post, I feel like is kind of making this writer responsible for edits in post when it should be they should call upon the writer who wrote the episode to have a dialogue. They rejected that as well. No counter offer to that at all, which is ridiculous. And you just go through the list. They have made counter offers to stuff, but way lower than what they're asking for. Now, when it comes to streaming, which is a big thing now, there's been a lot of questions about residuals because residuals do cable was formatted a certain way. With streaming, it's basically non-existent because a lot of streamers don't share numbers, or if they do, it's not to the level of can we actually pay the people who created the content to get paid if something's doing really well. So this is something that's really interesting that I feel like is really detrimental to this deal not going through. Establishing a viewership-based residual. This is bound streaming. In addition to existing fixed residual, to reward programs with great viewership, require transparency regarding program views. They rejected that offer. Rejected it. No counter. They wanted not. They don't want to give residuals. They don't want to do that. And this is really detrimental because, as we say like Netflix, the Wednesday series was massive for months. It was in the top 10 on Netflix for months. And basically, what they're saying is, if a show is really popular, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you residuals for the amount of viewership and how much money Netflix potentially earned from Wednesday alone. We're not going to pay the writers. We're not going to pay them for writing the scripts for that. And so once you go down the line here, this is basically the summary of it here. The WGA, Writers Guild of America, proposals would gain writers approximately $429 million per year. The response, the counteroffer, is approximately $86 million per year, 48% of which is from the minimums increase. So they're not willing to pay the writers. That's the gist of this. That's the basic of this. And shows like Cobra Kai, Stranger Things, have basically ceased production. Shows that are any show that was in the writer's room that were just writing scripts have now ceased production. Shows that are filming have either ceased production, or like House of the Dragon season 2, all of the scripts were done, so they're able to shoot. But if they want to make any changes, they cannot. They have to shoot it as is. Same thing with, say, Daredevil Born Again. Same thing with the upcoming Deadpool 3 when they start shooting that. If they want to make any changes to the script, Ryan Reynolds can't make changes. I think Ryan Reynolds is part of the WGA, or whatever the script is, he can't. I guess he really can't improvise because that's changing the script. So there's a lot of questions about this, but I want to go to Canada. How do you feel about all of this? And I mean, what stands out to you about this writer strike? Because I mean, we've been here before for a number of years ago, but this is really
it's been a few. Like the last time we really had one, I wasn't that deep in this industry yet. I had, I was on the very far outside, basically doing my autograph thing. But even at that point, I kind of had stepped away from doing TV and movie like stuff for a while and focused mostly on my sport. So I wasn't very involved in the last writer's strike. It didn't impact me at all. Mm-hmm. If you asked me, in 2008, what my opinion on the writer's strike would have been, I'm like, what writer's strike? But now doing what I do, it is stuff that I have looked into and learned about and read up on. This current one, I don't see this ending soon. And the reason I don't see this ending soon is big problem that TV, movie, and music has had for a long time, and it's still a thing even in 2023, is the people at the top thinking they can run things the way they've always run them. And they're not going to want to listen to new ideas until it finally starts hitting them in the pocketbook. Mm-hmm. And when that finally happens, when they finally have to cave in, they're gonna go like this, like a little bit every step along the way until finally they can get the writers to move closer to them. Like they're gonna say these are the two ends, right? The studio is gonna be like this, and they're gonna want the writers to go like this, and then they'll move this and like this. If the writers move, incrementally the same, if it goes like this, or this, this. Like if they go really slow, this will go on several months. I think best case scenario is you're probably looking at a strike similar in length to the last one. Best case scenario. And that's going to push every production on the planet that needs a writer. Well, not on the planet, but that the WGA oversees into the fall, because it's not just the 3 months the writer's strike would take up. It is also, they then, after the writer's strike is agreed upon, then they can start working on getting everyone's schedules together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have all the actors just sitting around doing nothing right now. You have the production teams doing nothing right now. You might have people in the studio like building set pieces or doing, you know, certain maintenance or whatever. But 97% of the work doesn't get done until you have a script in front of you, you know? And they're not going to have those. So you are going to see probably in the fall, that's when you'll really see the impact of right now, because we won't have those shows filming in July. I don't see a timeline with outside of them getting this like done like now, like in the next week. I don't see a timeline that they get started in July, because I think they could get started in July if they solved it now, because the amount of time they've been on strike isn't that long and they'd only be missing a couple of weeks of work. But if this is like 3 months long, everybody's off doing their thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, actors are like on vacation or taking projects over in like Europe. You'll have the crews that would be working behind the scene have gone on vacation themselves with their families in the summer. There's going to be a scattering of people. They're going to have to organize together and like set a schedule when we're starting. And that's not going to be the next day. So it's going to hit a lot of people eventually. But right now, the studios aren't feeling the pinch yet because they've got a backlog of programming to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to streaming, this is 3 times more relevant. Like, I know in Vancouver, at least 4 or 5 shows that were filmed in Vancouver way a while ago that they don't even have premiere dates yet. They could just like drop those in and just be like, oh yeah, the new Godzilla series, we're moving that up 2 months. Oh yeah, the series that they had Mark Hamill here doing that I forgot the name of, we're moving that up a couple of months to fill in that hole, you know?
And that's the thing. A lot of these studios have back catalogs of stuff, and so they're okay for now, but eventually they're going to run out of things to put out that's new. Like, they're going to be relying on their old stuff. I wanted to ask you, Andy, because this is something that I think is that's affecting not just the writers, but they're also going to be looking at the Actors Guild is going to be going into negotiations soon for a new contract.
And the Directors Guild.
And directors. And I think on top of this too, I'm curious about one of the major linchpins, the new wrench in the system is AI. Because AI now can write scripts. I tested this out a couple of weeks ago because I downloaded an app on my phone that's basically an AI free app. And I just gave it a prompt, write a short story based on this, this, and this. It wrote me a 6 to 8 paragraph short story based on what I told it. And
But
AI,
Chillblain.
yes, Chillblain. But I just gave it random prompts, and it was able to write. And I literally read it, and it gave me a cohesive story. Simple, but it was a cohesive story. Exactly what I asked.
Right grammar and everything.
Yes, perfect. No issue.
Oh no, Andy's worried he's gonna be bumped out by Screen Rant for an AI.
But that's the thing. So now AI is evolving so much that at some point it will literally be able to give you a script. And there was a story a couple weeks back, maybe like 2 weeks ago, that some studios are considering using AI to write scripts based on books and public domain IP, and then hiring a writer to fix it before they go into production, if they were to do this. And I said, this is the beginning of the end. If they start using this for public domain stuff or for books and writing a script, they will start prompting, because you can right now prompt the AI system, whatever you're using, and give it some ideas, some concepts. It could probably spit out a synopsis of an original film they can turn into a script. Mm-hmm. Instead of having someone come up with an idea, the AI will do it for them. Give me a list of films. Give me a list of of
But can
potential.
how would an AI do rewrites?
AI can't. I don't know about AI can do rewrites, but they were saying they would have AI basically create a concept or write a script per se, and hire a writer to make it a script. So it's a thing to where I know the Writers Guild will not go for that. But what are your thoughts, Andy, on this whole thing? This is a mess because, like, I think I agree with Canada. This is not going to get like done next week. It's going to go on for a while.
No, the last writer strike, it lasted for 100 days. It started from November 2007 and went to February, I think February 2008. This is unbelievable that that Hollywood are still not realizing that this stories products comes from the minds of writers. It starts with the writer. It starts with their words in their mind that they put on the page. And I get, again, because it was funny because I was talking to my teacher today about AI, and I was kind of just like so uncomfortable with it. I was thinking, I just don't see it being feasible in the long run. That you have something like sure, it takes a public domain property and write a script based on that. But again, it's like, is it gonna is it gonna have good drama? Can an AI actually give you could they put together a romance story? Could they actually put together a believable, could they create a good ship, for example? But yeah, no, I agree with what CG is saying, is that right now things may not be as bad because, like we say, like we look at something like Vancouver, we have Dead Boy Detectives, for example, that has finished filming, so they can roll that out whenever they want, whenever it's done. The Godzilla show, anything that's finished filming, great. But then it's like, how do you do renewals? Because what are you going to renew if you don't have anyone writing it? So it's when you were reading the descriptions of what they proposed and what they rejected, I'm just like, this has to stop. Like at some point, this corporate greed that exists within Hollywood, it needs to be defeated, because you have dumbasses like David Zaslav going out saying that I think everyone is eventually going to come back because of the for the love of business. It's easy for you to say that when you get a $50 payout or something, and whatever it was. It's just, this has this will come to an end, but when is the bigger question. And I think it's also because I don't remember how what happened, how many shows got canceled because of the strike in 2008. But I bet you we're gonna have a shit ton of more properties getting canned within the next couple of months because of the strike.
That's the big threat. And I just did this just now. I asked AI, and this gave me a whole thing here. All I did was write a synopsis for a film based on Batman fighting the Joker who was threatening Gotham City. It gave me all that green text, a synopsis of him going, and all I did was Batman and the Joker. That's all I wrote at the top was Batman and Joker. I didn't say anything else. I just said Batman, Joker, Gotham City. And then it goes on saying this stuff. And then it goes, Batman's allies, including his trusted butler Alfred and tech guru Lucius Fox, provide support as he races against time to stop the Joker. And literally, when you go through it, it's literally reading as a synopsis in terms of a personal battle between Batman and Joker. And that's just me typing a 1-sentence thing into AI, and it gave me 5-6 paragraphs of information I could turn into a script if I wanted to.
It's funny, when you were just saying that you did that, my first question literally was going to be, but can it name any other characters in the movie?
It did.
And so this is why when Andy was bringing up the thing of I can't remember who it was, can they write a drama or can they write a romance? It can, because what it's doing is feeding off of other information that already exists.
Yeah, because it says that Batman also has to deal with his inner demons and his struggles and his deep connection to the Joker. I'm like, that's stuff that I didn't ask it to talk about, but it brought it up.
Yeah, because all it's done is it's taken information off of every other source that's public out there and processed it into a piece and found the pieces that fit most often and go, these are the pieces that connect the most to that. So when you ask if it can make a drama or a romance story, I think it could, because it will just pull from all the most popular pieces connected to those genres.
Yeah. And if I would have asked it to say, give me a synopsis of a Batman film with the Joker as the villain and a love interest with some Catwoman, whoever, it could give me some of those bits. It could tell me.
Oh my god! So I actually went on one of those AIs as well, and I wrote this. Write me a synopsis about Barry Allen and Iris West Allen if they had their own HBO show. And here's what I got. Flashpoint, the Allen Chronicles. Set in a parallel universe where Barry Allen and Iris West Allen are the main characters. Flashpoint, the Allen Chronicles follows the married couple as they navigate life as superheroes, scientists, and partners in love and crime fighting. Plot: after a tragic accident in their laboratory, Barry Allen gains superhuman speed and becomes a Fly, while his wife, Iris West Allen, becomes his closest ally and confidant in his superhero endeavors. Together, they battle villains, investigate mysteries, and save Central City from disaster. However, their journey is not without its challenges. Along the way, they encounter a host of enemies, including the villainous Reverse Flash, who seeks to destroy Barry and everything he holds dear. They also face personal struggles, such as Barry's guilt over the accident that gave him his power, and Iris' difficulty balancing her work as a journalist with her duty as a superhero. Despite the obstacles they face, Barry and Iris remain committed to each other and to their mission to protect Central City. As they work together to overcome each new challenge, they discover new depths of strength, courage, and love. They even give me a freaking cast list. Barry Allen the Fly, a brilliant forensic scientist with a quick wit and an unwavering sense of justice. Iris West Allen, a tenacious reporter with a keen mind and a fierce loyalty to those she loves. Eobard Fawn, Reverse Flash, a cunning and ruthless speedster with a personal vendetta against Barry Allen. And this is where you can tell that they have been looking for CW information. Cisco Ramon, a tech genius and Barry's closest friend, who helps him build his superhero identity.
It doesn't even mention his breakdancing.
Yeah.
Caitlin Snow, a brilliant scientist who works with Barry and Iris' laboratory and becomes a powerful ally in their battle against evil. Tone, Flashpoint, the Allen Chronicles, is a thrilling, action-packed drama with elements of sci-fi, romance, humor, and explores complex themes of identity, morality, and personal growth, while also delivering plenty of high-speed thrills and epic battles. It gets better. Target audience. Flashpoint, the Allen Chronicle appealed.
Oh my god, this thing goes on forever.
Yeah, this is the last sentence. And Flashpoint, the Allen Chronicles would appeal to fans of superhero shows like The Flash and Arrow, as well as viewers who enjoy character-driven dramas with a sci-fi twist. The show would likely target adult audiences, giving them mature themes and tone.
Here's the problem. This is why it's so dangerous. You literally wrote a small sentence, and it gave you so much more than my app gave me. But it literally just gave you so much. Literally, they could just take that and go, okay, we could build a show on this. Now, here's what they didn't do. The AI didn't go into specifics about more than just Barry's, guilt about the accident or whatever, and then that gave him powers, and Iris's, dual life essentially. But it didn't go any deeper in that. However, if you were to say, even though AI can't rewrite what you just said,
you can prompt it to move that direction.
You can prompt to say, give me more drama that would involve a superhero and his girlfriend / wife, and then you could cherry pick from that and build it without having to think of it yourself. AI will give you a list. Give me a list of drama between a superhero and his girlfriend / wife. I do want to read this real fast while he's typing that in. Thank you, Victor, for the super chat. Hello, guys. Can studios hire writers that are not part of the WGA? Is that legal, or all writers have to be? So they can. However, 99% of the writers that are actually active writers who are working on projects, I would say I'm maybe 99, maybe not 99, but almost all of them are in the WGA. They can hire writers that are not. They can. However, they're not going to get the quality that they would be with the WGA, because you're in the WGA. What? Sorry,
I'll let you finish yours, and then I'll.
No, I mean that's pretty much my thought. Is it's not illegal. It's just you want the WGA writers. They have they're approved writers within the guild.
At the end of the day, all the studios would happily take non-union writers that they can get them, because they don't have to deal with unions then.
Yeah.
The reason they don't, is because there are other parts of their industry that are also unionized who, as soon as one person shows up with a sign in front of that studio, they're not crossing that picket line. So if you went and hired, you hear the term, if you ever hear of like strikes, the term scab. If they went and hired a scab writer to replace a current unionized writer, the next day someone's standing at that office with a picket sign and no one else that's a unionized member from any other industry is crossing that line. So you're just shutting down your production in a different way, you know?
Yeah, so ultimately it's not smart. They can do it, but they won't.
Yeah.
I just okay, because this got even freakier. So I wrote writing synopsis about Iris West Allen and Lois Lane because I was like, I can't even do this, and they're like, sure. Here's something for a hypothetical show focused on Iris West Allen and Lois Lane. Title: Women of Steel. Premise: Women of Steel follows the Women of Steel follows the adventure of two of DC Comics' most iconic female characters, Iris West Allen and Lois Lane, as they navigate the challenge of being journalists while here in their respective cities. Plot: Iris West Allen is a passionate journalist working as Central City citizen. Oh wow, they're where she covered the ladies.
That's crazy. It pulled. You didn't even ask for it to include it. It just did it on its own.
It goes on. Covers the latest new scientific breakthrough. Her husband Barry Allen, also known as the Flash, and together they fight crime and protect Central City from danger. Meanwhile, Lois has a harrowing report at the data plane in Metropolis, where she covers the larger political scandals and breaking news. Her partner, Clark Kent, is secretly Superman, and together they battle threats to their city and the world. Despite living in different cities, Iris and Lois share a deep bond as women who are dedicated to their work and their families. They frequently collaborate on stories and investigation using their respective skills and networks to uncover the truth. Along the way, they encounter a variety of enemies and obstacles, from corrupt politicians to powerful supervillains. As they work together to overcome these challenges, Iris and Lois develop a strong friendship based on mutual respect and admiration. They support each other through personal struggles, such as Iris' difficulty balancing her career and her role as a mother to her and Barry's children, and Lois' occasional clashes with her editor Perry White. Again, and they give you a cast list. Iris West Allen, a passionate journalist and loving wife of Barry Allen. Lois Lane, a hard-hitting reporter and partner to Clark Kent and Superman. Barry Allen, a brilliant forensic scientist with superhuman speed. Superman, a powerful superhero with a strong sense of justice. Perry White, the tough but fair editor of the Daily Planet. Technically, that's a little incorrect because he's the editor-in-chief. He's not just the editor.
I mean,
yeah. Wally West, Iris and Barry's nephew and protege, who also possesses superhuman speed.
Yeah, so literally, it gave you so much
creepy.
Yeah, and the thing is, they will use this kind of thing to build shows. They could do this. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I will not be surprised at all. I mean, it might have even happened already, and we're just unaware of it because they haven't admitted to it. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if by 2025, something that's been AI written is up for an Emmy or an Oscar, and they just they don't publicly tell you about it.
Well, that's
they're just Jordan wrote this script, but Jordan was there ChatGPT, do my job for me.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Wait. I just put in this. Write me a synopsis about Canagraphs. Title: Behind the Lens, the Canagraph Story. This is so good.
I am suing everybody, everywhere, over everything.
Wait, let me read it. Premise:
No.
Behind the Lens, the Canagraph Story is a documentary-style series that takes viewers behind the scenes of Canagraph, a popular photography and fan news website that covers the latest happenings in the entertainment industry.
Oh my God.
Canagraph is run by one man, Steve Canagraph Wilkie, who has built a reputation as
what? Wait, what?
Your name is Steve Wilkie.
What's my spell my last name for me? I need to know this.
I will put it in the chat so that in the private chat so you can see. This is, oh my God, I'm laughing.
Is it Wilkes?
Like this.
Wilkie. Oh, okay.
Oh, Wilkie. Okay.
Yeah. Who has built a reputation as one of the most skilled and respected photographers in the business, based in Vancouver.
Oh, well, in Vancouver, it knew. You're based in Vancouver.
Steve covers a wide range. Oh no, no! Oh, and I think he was gonna. Oh, I think he actually clicked on the tab. This is really scary.
It
Like
is.
I just put in again. Write me a synopsis about Canada graphs.
And it just said, I think that's just by happenstance. I don't think it knows about Canada Graph specifically. Holy shit.
Bro.
Oh my god, it's Steve. It's Steve.
Sorry, guys. Had a technical issue here. But yeah, I'm back.
It's
Hi, guys. I'm Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Steve covers a wide range of events and production, from movie sets to red carpet premieres to fan conventions. Okay, now this became a little fan version. I can never see CG at a convention.
I have been at them. I just do not spend. I've been to one actual fan expo and never, ever, ever in my life will go to another one. And I've spent a lot of time outside the supernatural conventions, but never gone into them.
Behind the Lens follows Steve as he goes about his daily work, capturing candid moments of actors and celebrities and providing exclusive scoops and insights to his followers. Along the way, he shares his process and techniques, from scouting locations to setting up shots to editing and publishing his photos. The show also explores his personal side of Steve's life, including his love for his family, his struggle with health issues, and his passion for the art of photography. Viewers get to know the man behind the camera and gain a deeper appreciation for the hard work and dedication that goes into running a successful media enterprise. Now, let's look at the cast list. Steve Wilkie, the founder and sole proprietor of Canagraphs, a talented and respected photographer with a passion for his craft. Various actors and celebrities. Canagraphs has crafted an image of countless stars over the year, and the show would feature interviews and footage with many of them. Tone. Now get ready for this. Behind the Lens is a behind-the-scenes look at the world of entertainment, journalism, and photography. It's a mix of documentary-style footage and interviews with a focus on the craft of photography and the life of media entrepreneur. The tone is informative, inspiring, and occasionally lighthearted. Target audience. This is the last part. Behind the Lens would appeal to fans of photography as well as those interested in the entertainment industry and celebrity culture. The show would likely target adult audiences, given the mature themes and tone. It would also appeal to viewers who enjoy documentaries and behind-the-scenes about features on popular media websites.
Behind the Lens would save cinema, Fernando says. With all that, we kind of proved that AI can be used to create
CG. How do you feel about this?
Yeah,
they specifically say it's based in Vancouver, and like
I'll say that Stephen Wilkie is very surprised with its dead-on accuracy of every detail, that it never got anything wrong.
all correct.
That's a surprise for someone who I might be like known in some circles, but in the entirety of the internet, I am not, very well known. That's a surprising amount of detail to know about just a word that most people would think you made up.
Yeah,
if you said Canada graphs to 100 people on the street, 100 people are going to look at you and be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. ChatGPT was like, oh, that guy. Yeah, here's everything you need to know about him, except his name.
Here's what's really scary about it. So he put Canada. It sped out. It's based in Vancouver, which is okay. You could have picked anywhere in Canada.
The sentence is literally rhyme about Canada graphs. Nothing else.
So graphs, because you said your name is based off autographs, but then photographs come in the mix. It took graphs and just went with it in terms of like, okay, photographs. But like, if it would have said autographs, it still would have matched you. It still would have. So it's very bizarre how much information it gave based off of a very short sentence. I think just in general about this whole writer thing is going to go on, and they have to figure out this AI thing, because this is too much. Any final thoughts about this whole writer strike situation? I think we pretty much covered a good portion of it, but
yeah, honestly, I think my last thought on it is I think the biggest sticking point is going to be the streaming residuals, because they have for a lot here. So here's the thing I think a lot of people aren't really aware of yet, but they'll see it happen in the next year or two once this strike has happened, and that is studios have for a long time run off of cheap labor. They have always wanted to make $100 million off $5 million investment, but they'll take $100 million off of $30 million investment. but they don't want to make $100 million off of $80 million investment.
No.
So if all those costs go up too much, you're going to see them. A lot of places are going to be like, no, we can't do that project. No, we can't do that project, because they don't want to pay people to make a project that they're only going to make a small profit off of or possibly break even. There is going to be down the road, whether it's in 2, 4, 6 years, a content gap that's going to happen where you'll get a lot of top end content, but you're going to get very little mid and low tier content. The problem is you're still going to be getting the same amount of top tier content you get now. You're just going to get a lot less middle tier content, and where you're going to fill your time with, Yeah,
it's a whole thing to where, just for an example, Shazam! Fury of the Gods was $100 million budget to make, and the return on that was a disaster. It was a horrible return in the box office. Things like that scare studios from ever agreeing to work on something. Now, obviously, that superhero film, that realistically should have been a profit. That realistically should have made money. But in terms of in the future, hey, we have an idea for a $50 million budget film, and there's not really there's not an audience. It's a brand new IP. Well,
yeah.
Is it gonna make $200-300 million at the box office? Probably not. Well, if it's not gonna make money, why are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
One
of the things they've been relying on for the last 10 to 15 years is all the money they make on the back end when they sell to streaming services that isn't a quote unquote residual that they have to pay out. Mm-hmm. When you watch House or Chuck or any of those old shows on Netflix or something like that, those writers would have got residuals when it aired on TV, even if it airs in reruns on TV. But when it runs on streaming, they're cut out of that story.
Yeah,
and that's the big sticking point. They want residuals, especially for shows that are doing well.
Yeah, Supernatural. I wonder how much all the writers have lost in Supernatural over the years, because it was number one. It was number one on Netflix for 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I may have put in one more synopsis.
Well, we got to get to the CW topic. So,
yeah. I will, but this is the last one. Right, Mr. about Chainsaw Reacts.
Oh boy!
Of course.
Title, Reacting with Chainsaw. Premise: Reacting with Chainsaw is a YouTube show that features the charismatic and opinionated host Chainsaw Reacts as he shares his thoughts and reactions to the latest in pop culture, entertainment, and news. Plot: Chainsaw Reacts, also known as Brandon Davis.
Okay. Brandon Davis. Is that a guy who fucking works for comicbook.com? I think that's his name. Anyways,
is a popular YouTube personality with a passionate following. He is known for his lively reactions and outspoken commentary on everything from movies and TV to music and memes.
I don't know about memes, but music. I mean, Metallica.
Yeah.
I'll give you all
Reacting with Chainsaw follows Brandon as he watches and reacts to the latest trailers, news, and events in the world of entertainment. He provides insight analysis, witty commentary, and occasional rants that keeps you engaged and entertained. The show also delves into Brandon's personal life, sharing his backstory, challenges, and aspirations. Viewers get to know the man behind the screen and gain a deep appreciation for his unique perspective and voice. Cast: Brandon Davis, Chainsaw Reacts, the host and main personality of Reacting with Chainsaw. Tone: oh my god, this is funny. Reacting with Chainsaw is a fun, irreverent, and fast-paced show that caters to the YouTube generation. The tone is energetic and upbeat, with plenty of humor and entertainment value. The show would appeal to viewers who enjoy reaction videos, pop culture commentary, and engaging personalities. And target audience would be Reacting with Chainsaw would target a younger, digital-savvy audience who enjoy YouTube content. So they're talking about Gen Z, basically.
Whoa.
The show would appeal to fans of pop culture, entertainment news, and reaction videos. It would also attract viewers who enjoy following the lives and personality of their favorite online creators.
Thank you, Steve, for the tweet.
I'm so scared that it was like again, when they said music, I'm like, okay, they know what's up. They know what's up with him.
They know. Okay. AI is scary. That's pretty much the gist of that. We got some news about a certain network that's going down in the shitter.
Mm-hmm.
let's dive into it.
So it is Red Wedding for CW Part 2, because last year was definitely not fun. So so here's what's been going on throughout the week, and they've started giving out their renewals and cancellations, and so far the only shows that have been renewed are Walker for a 4th season with 13 episodes.
Down there next to Canada, down there. Yeah,
Exactly.
Walker and All American.
Yeah, All American has it was renewed previously. They haven't specified how many episodes they're getting for All American season 6, but then in the meantime, they've now gone ahead and canceled 3 shows. So Green and the Canaries, Walker Independence with Kat McNamara. I'm sorry.
See, they should have called it Walker and the Canaries. Then they could have mixed both of them together.
They could have got 3 seasons at least.
Yeah. So Walker Independence got canceled after 1 season. They are looking at potentially shopping the show around. The Winchesters has been canceled after only 1 season, but apparently Warner is planning an aggressive shopping around of that one.
It'll be interesting because for Warner Brothers to do that, they're going to be shopping outside their own network region, and they're going to have to give up a lot to get that somewhere else, I think.
Yeah, and then thirdly, they've also canceled Kung Fu after 3 seasons. Now, a lot of people that I know watch Kung Fu has said to me that that they felt season 3 actually ended on a very good note, where like, yes, if this is the final season, at least most things are wrapped up. I just think it's shitty that they announced it on the lead's birthday, like literally, yeah, Olivia. It was her birthday, and
isn't that the same as last year, or was it something else they canceled? Oh no, that was the Batgirl film. They canceled it on the day of the wedding of the something.
One of the directors.
Yeah.
So now but now I know what everyone is is wanting to know, and that is, what is the state of Superman Lois, Gotham Knights, and and I'm sure that we have some people in the chat that watch All American Homecoming. So this is one of those like fun times where all the trades are now like saying different things again. So I'm gonna bring this up because it is kind of exhausting, like how much I don't know who they're talking to. I don't know who the trades are talking to.
Civil War.
It is Civil War. Yeah. One of my proudest creations. Well, in this case, it's just Variety and Deadline and Hollywood Reporter. So they're saying so the one thing they have in common is that they're saying that they might be picking up at least 1 or 2 more shows, so that they can do this. 2 shows would air in the fall, and 2 shows would then replace them in mid-season. Now, Deadline came out initially and said that Superman Lois and All American Homecoming could be renewed, but that is a major big if, they said. Then Variety says that Variety is saying that the rest of the shows are expected to be canceled. And then Hollywood Reporter is saying that they're expecting one of the DC shows to survive, but it is unclear because Superman Lois is the one that is highly, that it gets more ratings. It is the most expensive one. Gotham Knights is not expensive for them. Yeah. I'm tired. Why? Who are they talking to? That like.
Probably Steve Wilkie and what was the other guy?
Brandon Davis.
Brandon Davis.
Okay, because this kind of all ties in a little bit to the strike as well, because obviously with all the shows on strike, there's this gets complicated too, because Superman Lois all deals with the problem of they've lost number of production leases already. So production leases are gone, and CG, as far as we know, there's no public records about an extension of that deal from December.
No,
right?
I actually looked in on this the other day. I haven't physically called the city of Surrey to find out, but I scoured the internet for an hour about this. I can't find an update on it.
Yeah, so that's
the The only update I could find is actually kind of negative, but it doesn't direct, like, I think, so there's some land there that's going to be used for something else soon. And I think some of that land would overlap with where they parked some of their, like, work vehicles. So where would they park their work vehicles if they are still there? That's what the only thing I could find. But that itself doesn't even start until this summer. And so I don't know if they, like, reposition something. Like, I can't find anything about their specific parcel of land that they're using.
Yeah, the Hall reporter mentioned also that. So yeah, because this is, I think, the part where, like, and now I think people are maybe getting false hopes again, is that Brad Swartz, who is the new Mark Pedowitz of the CW, sources say wants to keep at least one DC show on the network with a move to HBO Max possible for the veteran Enterprise of Superman Lois. Again, pricey is still relevant there because because if it goes to HBO Max, you can expect David Zaslav to have a way more involvement where, like, he's gonna be like, it's not worth paying this much,
Yeah.
So,
well, I guess my counter to that would be because Superman Lois is on HBO Max, it's not on Netflix, so they don't have that Netflix deal.
Yeah,
but
it does have the cool deal with HBO Max where, like, so in some countries, so it airs on Tuesdays here in America, and then 2 days later, the latest episode will be on HBO Max internationally in some countries. So it has that cool deal, like Riverdale does on Netflix.
So what if this is to be believed in terms of the HBO move for Superman Lois season 4? Hypothetically, because right now they promote it somewhat, but not really. They don't promote it as an HBO show. They just promote it, it's on the service. If it gets moved to an HBO Max series for season 4, they're going to heavily push it for marketing and to try to get more people to check it out. Because right now, unless you're searching it up, you're not seeing it on HBO Max. You have to go search it up and find it. It's not on the front page unless it would just added a new season. So that could boost it if they actually push it harder in the marketing as an HBO Max show or a Max show. I think it's really funny how they all have different opinions and different theories of what's happening. I think Superman and Lois is not going to get a season 4 unless it goes to HBO. I feel like CW will not renew it because they made it very clear they want low budget content. They keep acquiring shows that no one's ever heard of to air in the summer, and they're pushing golf heavily. They have this Road to Indy, the NASCAR crap they keep promoting now with the shows airing. Gotham Knights is more likely because it is low budget as hell. And
I don't think that's to say that it looks cheap, because
no,
I
it's just,
but it's not CGI heavy, is what he's basically saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, the post production's not crazy. All American Homecoming, I don't watch All American or All American Homecoming, so I don't really have an opinion. My thing is, it could come or go. It is what it is. In terms of, like, the Winchesters, I don't know where that would go because Netflix has Supernatural on it right now. Unless Netflix picked it up and try to really push it as, this spinoff or whatever, which I guess they could.
Wait, Shane, can I tell you what they did? The Winchesters, they pulled a Todd Helbing. They revealed at the end of the season that the Winchesters doesn't even take place on the same Earth as Supernatural. It is in the multiverse.
Oh my God.
So they realistically could, but like they could realistically, Netflix could realistically do that. Is the Winchesters? I think the Winchesters on Netflix. I think, or is it on HBO?
HBO Max.
Okay, well then,
it's another one of the shows where, like, it airs, like a few days later.
So
it gets on HBO Max.
It could go to Netflix because Supernatural is very popular on Netflix. I think probably still, so that's possible. In terms of Walker Independence,
Netflix would have to then buy.
It's possible. It's possible. I'm just saying it's possible. I mean, because I don't think Amazon would pick it up. In terms of Walker Independence, with Walker being renewed, I don't know who would pick up Walker Independence. I'm not trying to be mean. I've not seen the show. Maybe it is great. I don't think it is.
Maybe Paramount Plus.
Maybe, but I think if you're going to keep Walker on the CW and they had no faith in Walker Independence, it wasn't doing well, I don't know if anybody would pick that up because Walker is decent for CW. It's working for CW and it's on HBO. People can go watch it.
But it's not Yellowstone big. For example.
It's not Yellowstone big. It's not getting the numbers. I mean, me and Shelby watched, I think, 3 episodes of Walker, and we just stopped. It was fine, but we weren't like, let's keep
Yeah.
watching. Like we just kind of dropped it. So if they if the show wasn't doing well, they're like, just dropping Walker Independence. Now, if this was the CW with Mark Pedowitz back in the day, Walker Independence would have got renewed. They would have kept pushing that show. But
yeah, at least one more season.
Yeah, at least. So this whole thing is a mess. And then, you know, the thing is, I just don't know what to believe about what's going to happen with the 2 DC shows. I feel like Gotham Knights is a safer bet because of it's not as cost effective. Because wasn't the number about $5 million per episode for Superman and Lois at least?
There was some rumor about that at some point, but
yeah, if it's around that, I don't know.
I don't remember where it came from. I think it was one of the more credible sources, but as we just literally went over 2 minutes ago, they don't necessarily always get all the same story from places. So
yeah, but you know, the new CW wants at least $1 million per episode production. Like they want to lower their cost because CW wasn't making money for years.
Sorry.
No, you can finish your thought. I can hold mine.
Okay. Because here's what's also important to remember is that outside the production leases, outside of, I'm sure, other production costs that they have to renew in Vancouver, and I'm so sure CG can speak on way more than I can, they also have to pay for character rights. The Superman characters are some of the most expensive character rights of Warner Bros. And DC. And if they are only willing to pay $1 million per licensing per episode, which would include character rights, they're not gonna go for it. Gotham Knights, like, you know, someone like Carrie Kelly, you know, Harper Row, and so on. Yes, they're in the Batman mythos, but like they're still, you know, they're more obscure, so it's cheaper. It's probably more expensive if they had to pay for Dick Grayson or Jason Todd or Tim Drake or something like that. But
now, would Harvey Dent be that expensive? I think possibly.
He might be the only one, which is why they wouldn't maybe get bigger DC characters on the show.
Yeah. And obviously they're planning stuff with Harvey based off how they're progressing his character arc in Gotham Knights. So I would assume Harvey would have a big role to play in season 2. Like he's not going to go anywhere. So
I think Misha Collins is the main reason the show would still go.
Yeah, and literally to me, it's like he's the most interesting character, personally, of the show. But I think the CW is just in a weird place, and we're watching the downfall of the CW. They're completely changing their network. It's not it'll never go back to the way it was, and I'm fine with that because we had our era.
What's going on in the chat?
What happened?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. CG is right. Yeah, like even though some people are talking about Jensen Ackles having moved, you know, got a new deal at Amazon, thinking that, you know, the Winchester could maybe happen there.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers would have to agree to it. I mean, well, what Warner Brothers is working with Amazon though, moving over some DC content.
Well, that's animation. Like I think
I'm just saying it's possible.
I still find it pretty unlikely, but I guess it depends how desperate Warner Brothers is for however much money they can squeeze out of the deal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if Amazon says to them, like, you produce it and, you know, this and that, and we'll give you, you know, X amount of money. If Warner Brothers is desperate enough, I guess they take X amount of money. But if Warner Brothers is like, no, we want to make, you know, X plus amount of money, you know, it's not going to get done, right?
No.
But to go to the point that I was holding off on a few minutes ago, I think the one thing that could be a saving factor for Superman and Lois still possibly going to the CW is, I think the CW still, they like to have Walker. They need a bring in the audience to know, so people know your channel exists show. They need something that's going to get the audience to just click on your station so you can sell them advertising to your other shows.
Mm-hmm.
That Walker Independence is one. Walker is one. All American, I've never looked at the numbers on All American, but I'm sure since it's getting renewed, it probably carries enough people. That's 2. You have 3 other days a week. You've got to at least put something on there that's going to draw people in long enough to learn about your other programming. So I think Superman and Lois could possibly win just because they could look at that as, yeah, it's going to cost us a little bit more money, but we'll get more ratings, which means we'll get more ad dollars. That'll offset some of the cost differential, and it'll help us promote the other shows.
And they would obviously, like the Superman Lois would obviously have to trim a lot. Like I expect at least half of that cast to be trimmed down to either guest recurring or just leave the show altogether because well, CG, you talked about this on your stream before about the farm.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think the largest problem that show will run into is how do you manage a show where a guy flies around in the air all the time and punches people through walls?
You get to seal.
Huh?
You get to seal.
Wait, is he just going to sense people do things or something?
Yeah.
No, she just replaces him like Cecile and Lois.
Oh.
Cecile and Lois.
I'm so fucking tired of her.
Wait.
I'm sensing some negativity towards one of the holy trinity of the Arrowverse, Cecile, Allegra, and Chester.
I'm surprised you didn't say Chill Snore.
You mean Thrillbleen? By the way, I just watched your reaction immediately before we started this, and I saw you wanting to like reach through your screen and choke him as soon as he showed up, and then you're so mad when he did that turn on Keone, and then you're like, oh, so he's not completely horrible.
No, he's still a piece of shit. Like they make the character I hate the most, that is literally the bane of my existence. They make him the guy who's
the negative force.
Under the spell of the crystal. I'm like, and it's so funny now. Now there are people who have commented. There was more than one. There's like at least 4 or 5 comments on that video saying, I just love the rivalry between you and Chillblaine. It's better than what they've done on the Flash. Like they love it more than Flash and Reverse Flash. They love the rivalry of me and Chillblaine. It's like, I don't blame you because it's a basic. Everyone's like commenting when he came on screen, your mood changed immediately. You're like, God damn it.
Hey, ChatGPT, can you write me a story about Chainsaw Reacts and Chillblaine's heated rivalry?
I would love that movie. That should be episode 14 of The Flash. They should write that and do that.
Well, with that said, I think that we will know sooner rather than later. But like,
yeah,
I would prepare for the worst. But again, it's like, even though like Gotham Knights and is cheaper and Superman Lois is not like All American Homecoming is still profitable for them because of Netflix. Because that's the thing, All American has apparently been doing really, really well on Netflix, and it was a big deal when they announced that All American Homecoming was like, they had to offer HBO Max, but Warner Bros. Apparently pushed for it to go to Netflix instead. So I wonder if that's gonna be
the changing. That could be what makes it get passed. Is that Netflix deal? Exactly,
and it's like, and maybe in that case we would lose both DC shows.
I've been saying for a while, it's the end of the era of the Arrowverse and whatever ties into it or whatever that spawned out of it. I mean, we wouldn't have got Gotham Knights if it wasn't for the people who worked on Batwoman. So at some point, all the shit was going to go away because we have the new era of DC coming. It's the new era. Like the CW side with stuff was literally, it's been slowly crawling to its death for a while. So
what scares me is the fact that again, because this is all happening so fast, is that, again, it's like, it doesn't help them either that the Superman Lois and Gotham Knights comes in the midst of, the launch of these studios. Because I had to argue with people again online who were saying like, but James Gunn said, here's the thing, I bet you right now that James Gunn regrets he even said that, because like now, like somehow, like if the show doesn't get picked up, they're going to be looking towards him. And kind of be like, but you said this, and I always love what Stevie says is that he gave himself an out, but saying I expect to go for 1 or 2 more seasons that could include.
He's covered for anything from seasons 3 to 5.
Yeah, And the thing is that people just don't understand how this works. He doesn't make the decision. You know, he's the one who
he could use Tyler if he wanted to. He's like, hey, I want to bring back this actor, but he can't say, hey, David Zaslav, I want you to give Steven Lois a season 4 renewal on HBO Max. He can't do that.
No. Because I mean,
he's gonna walk into the office and be like, "You don't understand. I told people that was getting another season, even though I didn't say that, but people understood that in their little minds, and now I'm getting hate mail. So we have to make a season 4."
Yeah, because people just think that James Gunn, who's co-running the studio with Peter Safran, he makes a decision on what the CW's doing. No.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. That's the problem is a lot of people just always have that assumption that if you have a fancy title like CEO, you are the only voice that makes the decisions, and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not even partly the case, and people just they think he's like got carte blanche, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants, and he doesn't. There's a reason him and Safran were both hired, and that's because one has the creative and one has the financial business histories behind them. And between them, they come up with an idea. One looks at the creative and goes, creatively, I think this is a good idea. The other one looks at it financially and goes, financially, this is a good idea. Then they go to David and go, here's our good idea. But if one of those two doesn't decide it, then they don't even push it towards David. But at the end of the day, David is the one that has to tell them, yes, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah. He signs the dotted line. I mean, literally, James was doing a auto-correct whatever interview where they read off Google searches with his brother, Sean, and they asked, is James Gunn the DC's Kevin Feige, essentially? And he's like, well, Kevin Feige does everything. He said, my partner in all this, Peter Safran, runs the business side and all of that. I don't know any of that. My job is literally to give the creative input and the creative path that all these projects are going to go on. That is my job. Yeah. So he made it very clear, I'm not doing the business side. And obviously, as you said, David Zaslav has to sign off on the dotted line on things they're doing. He can't they just can't do whatever the fuck they want. Even if it's like, oh yeah, we're a separate studio. No, David Zaslav still gives you to say yes or no. So
he has the mandate of being able to go with it. If there is a decision that he just generally feel like is going to hurt the company, he can go in and do something. So it's I guess we will know. We will probably know soon. I will probably start expecting the worst, but I mean, I guess this is kind of I'm kind of just overall this, again, I this is not. Again, this happens so quickly. I know that acquisitions and networks and so on, there will be changes, but it was just look at how fast this all went.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything like that.
Well, I'm trying to remember back. Was it only 2 years ago, I think, when we first even learned that the CW had never turned a profit? It was like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We went from only then learning this wasn't a profitable venture to everything in the entire CW verse, not even just Arrowverse, but CW programming just being obliterated. And at the same time that all of that happened, Warner Brothers was getting sold and they were cleaning house. Mm. We had a nice stock of things, probably too many things, and all of a sudden you now have zero. Just poof, I couldn't have envisioned this. The only way I could have envisioned this was the only way I could have seen this empire collapse that fast would have been if a massive scandal had broken about someone notable in CW Arrowverse stuff that was prominent on all the stuff. And I'm not even talking like Andrew Kreisberg. I'm talking like someone in front of the screen, like a Grant Gustin, Stephen Amell, Melissa Benoist type thing. That's about the only way I could have seen the empire falling faster or at the same rate. Yeah.
It's a lot. Well, that's lightning bolt.
This is my reaction.
Wow.
That scene is way too long.
Yes.
I will jump in on this question, the lightning bolt one, real quick. I think at this immediate moment there is a better chance of Reacts with Chainsaw getting picked up than Justice You.
Yes.
It's just like dead. Like I like. It's like, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is, they
Like,
don't have to say anything. It's like we know.
They rarely has even been on. He hasn't even been on Superman Lois all season long.
They mentioned him. They mentioned him. So
They
he still exists.
him.
Yeah, they goes out there.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready for Q&A, everybody?
Let's do it.
Let's just open the Q&A. I wanted to say real quick. I bought a bunch of books on my vacation, Marvel and DC books.
Jordan, you're gonna run out of space at some point.
Yeah, I have some here. I have too many. That's the
This
problem.
is why I just don't read.
Yeah. Well, see, I have
if they want me to know their work, they'll put it in video form.
Yeah. I gotta based on that Rise of Sinzu or whatever Batman game.
Oh my god, that's one of my fucking favorite games of all time. I still have that game somewhere.
Yeah, I found the novelization. I also found this too. I had another one. It's like a Green Lantern, but this is DC Universe Last Sons with Lobo, Martian Manhunter, and Superman. But that's pretty cool. I got a Daredevil book. Predator Smile, as it's called.
Are there pictures in them?
No,
Okay.
it's all text.
I like pictures.
Iron Man. It's pretty cool. I got X-Men, Spider-Man, X-Men. It's pretty cool.
My god.
This is a big one. This is Spider-Man Revenge.
Going.
I just realized I'm looking at my computer screen while you're reading them off on here. So I'm hearing you announce titles that are like 10 seconds ahead of the screen. And I'm like, what? What the hell? That's a Daredevil comic, not an Iron Man one.
Yeah. This is a weird title, Goblin Moon. I'm not sure what that. I'm not sure why.
That's like I think he just showed us like 8 books.
I still got more. X-Men Empire's End.
Okay, I'm going for a nap. Let me know when this is over.
No, it's
Yeah,
over.
no.
It's over. I just wanted to show. I mean, I start going through all my fucking list here. But anyways. Okay, well, real fast. Did any of you guys watch? Did either of you guys watch iCarly?
No.
No.
Well, the reason why I asked is because one of those stars wrote a book and I read it. And her
Is it like 7 pages?
No. Dude, this is some fucked up shit. Because
what's her name? Oh, her. I've actually heard. Yeah, I've heard some of the stuff about that. Yeah. I didn't watch the show, but I have heard about her. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was 6 years old. Her mom forced her into acting. I remember watching iCarly back in the day, like randomly, and seeing that show and seeing how ridiculous her character was. I'm like, oh, she's funny. But then you read that.
Yeah, her mom is a piece of work apparently.
Yeah, it's some really fucked up shit in that book. I read that book in 3 days. I was like, God damn, there's some messed up shit in here. It was bad. I was like, God damn. But I was like, I have to check this out. Because I was hearing about was when the book came out, I heard all this crazy stuff too about it. About her life. My God.
We did have the news that Superman Legacy is officially starting filming in January.
If there's no hiccups, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of those ones they could get around the writer's strike by just filming it outside of North America.
Yeah.
So return to Vancouver, maybe?
You know, Vancouver's part of North America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You know what Europe is, right? You know what Africa is? He's
out.
Asia? Have you ever heard of any of these continents before?
He's gone. Oh my God. Go to bed.
Geography with Andy.
It should come to no surprise that I almost flunked in geography in high school. So
You should perhaps maybe hang out in some of my GeoGuessr streams, and you might learn a thing or two.
actually, I do actually I may not always tune in the chat, but like I do put it on something in the background because like just seeing you go through the map is like it's actually kind of relaxing for my brain because I don't know what it is, like it's like very stimulating for me that I'm like, because you know you don't go like super fast, like it's a game that kind of paces itself, but it's well I guess where could they film Superman Legacy then if
Europe.
yeah, but I wonder,
said
like,
that?
would they go to? Would they go to England? Would they go
Yeah,
to
London. London's got a shit ton of large studio spaces, like a lot. So I think that would probably be their number one call. The only thing that could stand in their way there would be if the Directors Guild or the Actors Union go on strike, then that would be the hiccup.
If the actors and directors go on strike too, holy shit.
Oh, can we get rid of fucking Fran Drescher? Because when did she become president of SAG?
Like a year, maybe 2 years ago. It was sometime during the mid-pandemic era. They do theirs kind of the same way as like political elections. They literally elect a person, and she won. I can't remember who she was running against, but yeah, she won her vote.
She ran against Cecile Horton.
Well, then she would have lost because everybody would be
Everyone
scared.
loves Cecile. Everyone loves Cecile. England could. I mean, they could go because they filmed the Batman in England, not in London. I think.
Oh yeah, Matthew Modine is who she ran against, right?
If they feel Krypton Sea, they can just go to space.
I love that.
Fernando, if you're not only are you always late, but you come with like
Fernando's been here for a little bit. I don't know if he's late. I mean, then again, Fernando is always late, but
yeah, Fernando is just like
Hello. Shit.
Basically, hello shit. I'm pretty sure like all my mods need to be fired. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. When does their contract expire?
They're going on strike. The
Moderators Guild of America. And that's not making that's not making fun of the Writers Guild of America. It's just
you're making fun.
No,
the mods are on strike right now.
But yeah, Superman Legacy. Yeah, I'm
After seeing Guardians 3, I'm more excited for that.
I forgot Guardians 3 was coming out until after it was already out that opening weekend, and I saw people talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I got to go see that. I guess I'm not. I'm just like right at this immediate moment. I'm kind of like, I know I'll like it when I finally go see it, but I just am not ready to go see it. There's something coming out later this month that I am excited for, and I've already forgot what it is.
The Flash movie?
No, God, not Fast and Furious. What are you like drunk?
Well, it's so weird how films are how many films are coming out when, because you have Fast X next week. The following week is Little Mermaid. The following week is Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse, and then there's a break, and then it's The Flash. It's pretty crazy.
And yet there's something you just didn't name that I'm like, oh, I really want to see that. What the hell is it now?
I don't even know. What's coming out?
I don't know. I'm trying to find that information.
Films releasing 2023. Oh, not 22, you dumb shit.
Oh, shit. I saw the coming soon tab just 1 second too late and clicked off the screen. There we go. There's something this
Indiana
month.
Jones?
No, I can't find what it is. Maybe it moved and I didn't know it moved. Whatever it was, because I remember there was something in May I wanted to see, and now I don't see it on this list.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Nope, definitely not that.
Okay, Barbie.
Wait, is that coming out this month? I don't see that on the list I'm looking at.
No, I'm just looking at a list of films that are coming out this year. I'm just like naming off shit.
No, whatever it was, I guess it must have moved because I don't see it on the list on IMDb.
Gotcha. This is
Weird.
April. I'm looking for May. So, Hypnotic with Ben Affleck. Fast X, Sanctuary, Robots, Little Mermaid, The Machine, Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse in June, Transformers. Transformers is the following week after Across Spider-Verse. And then it's The Flash, of course. Elemental comes out the same day as The Flash from Disney. Okay.
It's summer season, y'all. It's summer fucking season.
Well, thank you, Victor, for the super chat. Steve, will the writer? Okay, he's calling you Steve. Will the writer delays can affect Superman if they get a season 4 permits or a place to film? Yes, it will be delayed because they can't write it. They can't write season 4.
There's just literally just like yesterday, maybe the day before, they announced that season 2 of Last of Us is being delayed, which I already knew that was going to be the case again because of the writer's strike and all that. But they just announced that is so like. Season 4 Superman and Lois, if the writer's strike were to end in the next week or two, which is not going to happen.
No.
But if it were, they still are probably looking at like September because that was where they kind of started last year. Like when I talked to Tyler at the set at the finale, I asked him about, has he heard anything for next season? And he said no. And he's like, as of right now, I hope we're coming back the same time as last year, which would have been around September. So that is what he's expecting if they get another season.
Yeah. And that's probably not going to happen if they get a season 4, just based off of how
and
long
also I would say this, I think something we also take into account, if it gets season 4, I would expect it to be the final season.
Yeah,
I think that's probably a reasonable assumption right now.
Yeah.
I love that they're calling you Steve, by the way. That was the funniest. Like, still, like, out of all the names that they come up, but in fact, the fact that I said Catacrat and they're like, it's in Vancouver.
The amazing thing is my name is like public knowledge. I've said it on my chat dozens of times. Anybody that's ever like, messaged me for purchases knows my name. Like, it's not like my name's a hidden secret, and they came up with Steve.
Oliver Queen.
Steve Wilkie. Wilkie was the funniest bit.
It's Oliver Queen, right? Oliver Queen?
No.
Oh.
Huh?
Barry Allen?
No.
I'm missing something. What am I missing?
Cara Zor-El.
He's just listing names now.
Bebo.
That's it.
Steve Bilbo.
Steve Bilbo. Well, okay, Scott. Will we flip out if Cisco isn't in the finale? I would assume a lot of people will. We'll see.
Somebody, I can't remember where, somebody like got this like rumor going that he is going to be in it, and now people have their hopes up. Yeah, the only thing I'll say on this, I said it in my chat, and I'll say it here too for those that didn't see my chat. The only way I see him coming in, and I think that's not even an option now because of the writer's strike, would be if they did something starting tomorrow in wherever the hell he is in California. Because the offices for the Flash wrap today. It is, I don't know why, because most times an office wraps about 2 to 4 weeks after it ends.
That was great. That was strange.
This is like weirdly long, but they wrap today, which means the earliest they could start doing anything outside of Vancouver without having to pay penalties on it is tomorrow. And that finale is in less than 2 weeks. So unless they already had something set up, agreed upon, and written, I don't think they can do it.
And I'm gonna go on the limb and say this: if they didn't already do something before when they were shooting the finale, he's not in it. And the thing is, Canada would know if someone showed up in Vancouver.
That's not entirely true. There's people that can come in and out of Vancouver that I wouldn't necessarily know. But in this particular case, I explicitly asked people that I know on the crew about Carlos. And one of them, their response to me, I'm like, oh, hoping to see other people. And they're like, who you hoping to see? And I brought Carlos up as the first name, and then named a couple other people. And their reply was, "You should have lowered expectations."
Yep.
Meaning these people didn't come into Vancouver.
Well, that doesn't. Well, here's the thing. That doesn't mean that he couldn't appear via a video call. Because I mean, I guess.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. They couldn't start doing that work until tomorrow.
Yeah. Because so when Brandon Routh did that season 8 video call, that wasn't shot in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, it was. His family's actually been here a lot.
Okay. I just didn't know like if he was like somewhere else and they shot it and then they incorporated it into the show. I'm who knows.
Yeah, no, they would have done that in Vancouver. They're not going to pay for Brandon Routh to like have an extra day of work that they have to pay out.
Yeah. Victor Super Chat, will Lois recover at the end of season 3? I'm pretty much for sure, yes.
I mean, she's walking around in those videos, the kind of graph shots. She's fine.
That could be Lois imposter.
She could be a ghost. She could be haunting.
That could be Sayol, the reverse Lois.
Her eyes glow red and vibrate.
It's Cecilia in a wig and stilts.
So you just want Cecile. You just want Cecile to replace everything. That's what you want.
Well, I mean,
he wants his own Cecile verse.
Yeah.
Ew.
Who wants the Arrowverse? You have the Cecile verse. Who wants that?
Every episode is resolved in 2 minutes because she can just sense when crime is going to happen.
What they should do is they should announce Arrow is returning for a limited run season 9, and instead of Stephen Amell, it's Cecile. It's her taking over.
I feel like you feel the city.
I feel like you felt the city. Yeah, that's her catchphrase. Instead of like, like you have felt the city.
No, she's gonna need her own catchphrase. So it's gonna be like, Slade Wilson, you have let the city down.
I get the I'm getting a massive wave of disappointment from the city.
Dude, I love this. You're letting the city down. God, that fucking Stephen Amell, you have felt the city line was amazing in the Flash. That was so good.
Donna Smoke is the sidekick. I like this twist.
I love that. The only thing like that I thought was kind of weird. I'm glad they tried to play homage to like those epic Arrow fights with Oliver, kicking ass and shit. I felt like they were showing the stunt double's face too much. You could definitely tell that wasn't Steven.
What's really weird? What's really weird? So they practiced that stunt the day before they started filming out in the open and people saw it there and all that stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, they're doing a big stunt. I saw Steven do some of that work. I don't know where the stunt double broke in to take over, but I know Steven shot a good chunk of that fight sequence himself. I don't know what the break points were where they had to have the double come in, though.
Yeah, if you watch the scene, because I've seen it a couple times now, I noticed it the first viewing live. I noticed that you can tell that is not Steven's face, that is not his facial hair. He looks kind of like Steven, but it's definitely not Steven. Sorry,
I need to cut this off so I remember. I still remember there was a day. It was when they did the Tommy Comes Back in season 8, episode 1 thing. They were filming at this building one day, and I saw what I thought at the time was supposed to be the stunt double for Oliver. And he had like really thick black sideburns. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Didn't realize it was going to be for Tommy.
Oh,
sideburns? Oh my god!
But he was in the full Green Arrow costume, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? How is he going to pull that off?
Speaking of Colin Donnell, I think he would make a great Oliver in James Gunn's DC universe.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I can only imagine Colin Donnell standing there being like, Slade Wilson, you have let the city down.
I'm pretty sure the DC Green Arrow is not going to have that catchphrase. But that was
okay.
it was good.
Slade Wilson, you have disappointed the residents of this city.
You've disappointed this neighborhood.
Slade Wilson, you upset the balance of order.
Oh my god.
Slade Wilson, this is unacceptable.
Slade Wilson, HOA is going to find you for you breaking the rule.
Slade Wilson, I'm getting a massive wave of anger from you.
You're getting your Arrow and Cecile-verse people mixed up.
Yeah, no, he's combining them.
Oh, there's going to be an Arrowverse Cecile-verse crossover?
Yes.
Barfra. But just to make this perfectly clear, we're not hating on the actress. It's just that the character is just abysmal.
Yeah. Like I've met Danielle Nicolette dozens of times. She's perfectly fine, and I think she's actually a very capable actress that's been given a role that is not very likable.
See, Slade Wilson, that wasn't very nice.
It wasn't very nice. Oh, here we go. Now, Jim, Slade Wilson, that was messed up. Hayden. Slade Wilson, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh no.
That's how Shadow comes back. She goes like, Slade Wilson, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. What are we gonna do with our lives when these shows are gone next year?
I'm gonna be able to sleep quietly at night.
You'll get to talk about season 2 of Gotham Knights.
Thank God. No, like, the thing is like it's gonna be that endless cycle of once the show's over. Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Is it to keep going and going and going? It's gonna be the same.
You know what kind of sucks? I was thinking about this yesterday. So, remember during the pandemic, there was a gap in television because things had stopped producing for a while. Yeah. And streaming content like reactions and live discussions and all that really took a step up because there was nothing else to fill that void, really. We're about to have a possible another gap, except this time the content you would talk about, you don't have anything to talk about.
I mean, that was kind of the issue this week because we had talked on Tuesday and not a lot of news. We talked yesterday, not a lot of news. So it's like
who talked?
Me and you. We were like we were just like there's nothing.
I don't remember.
Oh my God, Andy.
Yeah, of course I remember. No, we talked like 2 different times throughout the week.
Wait, did you call me when I was asleep and I was like half awake?
No, you called me.
I called.
You actually didn't talk to Andy. You talked to his Chat GPT.
No, you talked to Onomatopoeia.
Yes, but you called me yesterday around noon and said, no, it was today. It was today you called me around noon because you're like, so there isn't really a lot of news. So I guess
I called you today?
Yes.
Wow, I'm getting
old.
I don't even remember this.
Hold on. But see, earlier this week and today we talked and we said there's hardly any news. We have only 2 topics. So yeah, 12-12. 12-12. You called me for 9 minutes. 12.
That was only like 10 hours ago, Andy.
Oh my God!
At 12-12.
I am so old.
And then on Tuesday we talked for 36 minutes.
Okay, don't get them too close because I don't want to see our text messages.
Tuesday, 36 minutes, and that was our discussion of we only have 2 topics, CW and the writer strike. And then today we're like, there's nothing. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing else. Like, and you were saying how, well, I mean, it's because the writer strike, there's like no real news. I'm like, yeah, I mean, even if there was news, is it really going to trump the CW stuff and the writer strike? Like, no. Those are the 2 big things, especially the writer strike stuff, which is affecting everything.
You know what you guys need? You need like Ezra Miller to go on another rampage.
That's what we need. We need Amber Heard to be in a new movie.
An Amber Heard Jonathan Majors co-starring production.
Ezra Miller directing.
Yeah.
Directed by Mel Gibson.
Something came out today.
Andrew Kreisberg as producer.
That came out today. Mel Gibson's directing a new movie.
I think he's far enough out of the controversy zone that people have got back to just not like being mad at him. You know, there's that time frame where people look at something and they're like, it was fucked up, but you know what? He made good content. People just like they have this time frame. I don't know if it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but everyone's got that break where they're just kind of like, yeah, but you know what? He did good stuff. Like, there's going to be a day, I don't know if it's going to be in my lifetime, there's going to be a day people are going to be like, you know what? That Bill Cosby guy had some good stuff. And and he doesn't like to hear it. Like, society, if you're famous, will forgive your issues so much faster than if you're a guy working at a gas station.
Yeah.
Well, Scott asked, will Amber Heard hurt Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom? No, I think the thing that's hurting the movie is apparently a really bad script.
Well, I was going to respond to this also as well, so I'm glad that you actually addressed it. So Shelby's fine with saying the Flash, even though she's like, that Ezra, like, now look, Ezra's a they, them, but she's like, yeah, Ezra, that guy's fucking weird, like all that shit, like, yeah, all that shit that happened. So she's like, I'll go see it, but it's kind of strange. But then I mentioned this about Amber Heard, and I said Amber Heard's in the sequel. I was like, I don't want to go see that. I don't want to see it. I'm like, I mean, that's not going to be a majority of people, but there are going to be people that are not going to go see it because she's in it. Even
if you took all the people that have major superhero roles that have major controversy around them right now, I think Amber Heard is the one people are most sour on. Ezra Miller may have done 140 different things, but more people are mad at the one thing Amber Heard is responsible for.
Well, I think
a lot of that has to do with the fact that Johnny Depp is on the other end of it.
Yeah.
If because the trial against Jonathan Majors just started, and if more victims starts coming out and he is proven to be guilty, oh wait, hold on, because I got to do the whole I have to do the whole YouTube thing. Allegedly, he is guilty of these crimes. You know, because it's changed on channels. Like, I don't want to get him a strike or anything like that.
And that's just the truth. We don't know. We heard they're cooperating with people. We hear that, and they're not going to mention it in this trial because that'd be other trials separate from this. Who knows? But
what a quick fall! Like, the trial was having everything, and now it's like, you went from Creed, Ant-Man. You're going to be the big bad of Phase 5
and Phase 6.
Yeah, and then
I think here's the thing. If you were to go through Hollywood, 99%, and I'm talking a generous 99%. I'm not talking like barely 99%. I'm talking like 99 to 99.7% of Hollywood has something in their past that is negative, that if they ever became famous enough, someone's going to be like, but that thing you did.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, it's like, as we were mentioning a few minutes ago about Mel Gibson, he's so far removed from the controversy at this point. It's like people just move on. And that's like how Hollywood is. If the Jonathan Majors stuff that's coming out now happened 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, let's say he started his career earlier, and
he'd already be on his comeback.
That and there'd be no issue with him being Kang. But now this happening now, if this trial does not go the way that he wants, he is going to get fired. He's already lost it on. He's already lost it on stuff already. But Marvel
his management dropped him.
But Marvel's the only one that is keeping him afloat in terms of his job security. But I think that's still, because they're not going to wait to release the information. They're going to make that immediately, just like James Gunn. They're going to release that information immediately that they fired him. So they're just waiting. They probably already have it drafted up how they're going to get the quote. Yeah,
I'm sure they've even given Jonathan the heads up. They're kind of like, we're behind you at the moment in the far distance, but the second we hear a guilty verdict or something, that can't be like excused away shows up, we have to cut ties with you.
That's pretty much what it is. Marvel's waiting for the smoking gun on Majors if there is one. They're waiting because I mean the whole thing with James Gunn, that was not a Marvel decision. That was a Disney decision. It's a wait and see situation. Like if they if they jump the gun now and it turns out to be he isn't guilty, they can't. I mean, they could rehire him, but would he go back to them? I mean, maybe.
Hey,
Look at the way that the Ezra Miller situation has been handled. Is I think why Marvel is able to do that with Jonathan Majors right now. If WB had just like thrown Ezra out the window, Jonathan Majors is already on the street and they're already redacting his information from previous projects. Like they would jump on that so fast if a precedent had been set the other way earlier. But since the precedent was set by DC to be like, we'll wait and see what happens before we do something.
Chainsaw, can you show him the shot from Ant-Man 3 that has like all the Jonathan Major and just show like how much of a fuck up Marvel is?
What do you mean?
You know the one of the post credit scenes with all the Kangs.
Oh, I don't have that image on here.
Okay. Chainsaw, I expect better of you. Chainsaw, you have failed this channel.
Wait, Ultra Edit is here.
Hey, Ultra, what's up?
I want to plug something very special. I want to plug something very special that he did. He did a complete cut of the March 18, 2000 event with the night Barry's mother is murdered, and from all the perspectives. That was really, really, really cool. So go check it out on his channel. Like it was. Okay. I don't know how he fucking did it, but like it was, it was huge.
Yeah.
Go check that out. I think if you get in the comments, you click on his name, you'll get there to his channel. So, but yeah, I guess we will have to see again when the trials are over. But yeah, I expect them to recast.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if they go that route, depending on what. I mean, if there's more victims or people that are speaking out about it. I mean, and it's weird how. As soon as this all comes out, there's people on Twitter that are saying, "Well, everybody knew." But I'm like, if everybody knew, wouldn't this have already came out earlier? But I don't know.
Here's a perfect example: Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Everybody in Hollywood knew. No one brought it up until the pile started to get big.
Yeah. Because they feel safer. So I get that point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because in that specific thing, there is a safety in numbers. The first person that can get people to listen to you makes it easier for the second one and makes it easier for the third, etc. But it's getting that first person to be believed,
Same thing with Bill Cosby. Once one came out, that's when they all started.
Bill Cosby had rumors back in the 90s, but he managed to dust those off, and then they eventually came back on him, Yeah. Slightly related to all this stuff, but slightly not. How... Are you amazed that Ezra Miller has managed to keep his nose clean since the PR stuff a few months ago? Like we haven't heard a peep about him.
I mean, that's the thing. Like they could still be like they could have been going with. There could have been other incidents that we just haven't heard of.
I think with how big of a spotlight there is on that guy right now. From his past incidences, if he did so much as jaywalk right now, someone would have caught that on their camera.
Well, I guess the bigger question is, will Ezra do press? Because we know Michael Keaton will. We know Sasha, who plays Supergirl, will.
I think if they do press with Ezra, it will be one or two specific outlets that they have prearranged content with that they know they can manage. They wouldn't have him like do a red carpet where they're like, "Hi, and now we're talking to comic book news." Like they're not gonna have him just talking to randoms.
That would be
so
they're
probably
bad.
Gonna have Oprah interview Ezra about the Flash.
Well, the thing is,
could you imagine Ezra Miller on Oprah?
The late night shows are a place a lot of actors go. So late night shows,
and they're off right now.
They're off, so that helps because you would think the lead of the film would be on one of those talk shows. So I think Ezra will probably do written interviews or maybe video, but it is specifically if you ask anything outside of the parameters of this film,
we will see you until you are nothing.
We will shut this interview down. You cannot publish it. So, and that's the thing. It's like you're censoring the people that are interviewing, but at the same time, if you want the one interview or so that Ezra's going to do for the film, you don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, because that studio destroys you in the future.
Yeah, so it's gonna be.
So, I have one of those like tinfoil hat theories. What
Go
if this
for it.
whole writer's strike is a thing to keep the talk shows off the air, so that they have an excuse for Ezra not going on the talk shows, so that they don't have to talk to him about it?
What a fucking conspiracy theory.
Now, I think they're gonna do red carpet events. I think they're gonna do red
Yes,
carpet
they
events.
will. They will, but Ezra will only do selective interviews there where it's been pre-approved
No.
with.
But if Ezra goes to red carpet, like they're gonna get so scrutinized because like anytime Ezra smiles, people will take photos and be like, "Oh look, Ezra doesn't care."
So here's what's gonna happen: either Ezra's gonna go to red carpets, Ezra will not do any interviews at the red carpet, or like how they do, like say like they did like earlier today, they had like a Rome premiere thing with Fast X. They had all these actors, and they had like a live video of like specifically Fast's YouTube channel, and they had people hosting it, and they had all the cast come in. If they do something like that in terms of red carpet, where they have like a specific Warner Brothers red carpet on their YouTube channel and have specific host, then Ezra might do that. But no, because they have all these other outlets there as well. They're probably like, no, Ezra, you can't talk to anybody else besides this specific person for this, and everything else you just steer clear. Let everybody else talk. You stand up there for photos. That's it. We're not because if let's say Ezra's like, because here's the thing: if Ezra gets too close to somebody who's looking for an interview, they might throw out a question and it's gonna get caught by other people. They're like, "Oh, did you just say that?" Like, so.
I think it would be just for Ezra not to do press at all. Let the director and the producer and Sasha.
It's just really hard. It is really, really hard to, especially for a movie with that budget around it, really hard to sell your film without ever having the lead of your film do any press.
Okay,
doesn't matter how much Michael Keaton you think is going to carry viewers. He's not carrying all of them. People are going to go there.
Oh my god!
Curious enough about the Flash to want to know about the Flash.
Yeah. Stranger. Okay, so the director, first of all, they're just reporting what we already talked about with the Hollywood Reporter. It's not breaking news.
Yeah.
But again, it's a big if, because again, once and the thing is, would we want a Superman Lois that is under a platform that is more overseen by David Zaslav? I don't think I want. I don't want the show to get canceled because I think there's some good people work on that show, but I don't trust that show, and I don't trust David Zaslav to take care of that show.
Yeah, and what Fernando was saying here too about probably have Ezra do limited press, red carpet, almost, but yeah. Also, the director and his wife will do a lot of the interviews.
No, that's his sister. That's his sister.
Oh, so I thought it was his wife's visit.
No, it happens a lot. You're not. I thought so too in the beginning.
Yeah, but like they're definitely gonna do the heavy lifting because realistically, at the end of the day, it is actually their film. I mean, Ezra's leading it, but it is their film, since they're the ones who are behind it and the making of it. Unfortunately, they were just dealt a bad situation. So
with that said, I hope Ezra is getting the help they clearly need, and I hope that right course of actions are being taken so that that this doesn't happen again. I don't want we don't because last year it was like living like a fucking reality show.
There was a 24-hour Ezra Miller TMZ scandal channel.
Yeah,
and it's like
I do feel like he is. I now do 6 months ago I didn't. Now do think he's probably taking this seriously enough because we haven't heard anything. And that one time that TMZ caught him at the airport, he handled that like someone that has gone through a lot of hours of prep and actually listened, because he didn't say anything that they could take any different way. He just stood there, nodded, said hello, and sorry, I can't talk about that, and didn't get agitated into an answer. So I feel like he went through something that they had a PR team come in and be like, here's some things you can and can't do, and he actually listened. Because that one time TMZ caught him at the airport showed me that he couldn't be goaded into a response.
No, they were
able
to
just walk past. They were looking for that soundbite and they couldn't get it out of him.
Yeah, they kept pointing at their headphones, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. But but yeah, We will definitely. I just, it's. Oh yeah, you know what? This is actually one of the best things ever to actually happen. James Corden's show just ended. Yeah,
thank
good.
God.
I never could find out why people like cared about that shit. Like, of all the talk shows that are on the air that are like primary talk shows, least interesting one.
Yeah, because it's because he lacks a personality.
Yeah,
And from all accounts, he's an ass. So
that can be said by a lot of people in Hollywood, though.
well, that's true, but like there was a thing to where if like the kind of talk around late night hosts was that Stephen Colbert's nice, but Conan's nice, but James Corden, he is literally an ass once the cameras are off. Like he's just a completely different person. He's over the top pretending to be somebody he's not. And I think that's the biggest problem is that he's not genuine, Did
you ever see when the Golden Globes, when Ricky Gervais took the shot at him the year Cats?
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Ricky Gervais did that because everyone in that room pretty much knows James Corden is an ass. And so he's like, I'm going to do this. And that's why people laugh their ass off because like they can't believe he did that, but also, okay. Then again, Ricky Gervais doesn't care about anybody.
This is a good point. I could see Fernando says, Fernando, you said something useful once. I could see. I'm sorry. I can see her speaking to Christina Hudson in interviews a lot since she's in Gunn's DCU circle of writers that are mapping out the franchise.
Good.
Yeah,
they will speak to the people around the perimeter of the movie, but at the end of the day, selling the movie to the unknown viewer, which is 75% of ticket sales, they're going to want to know about the star.
Lightning Bolt, was he axing basketball players?
How about NBA was baseball?
Yes. No, NBA
I don't know.
National Basketball Association.
An NBA game? Oh, cool.
Well, also, too, interesting about David Zaslav. David Zaslav came out in an interview supporting the writer's strike, which was baffling.
I think it's a thing you just do because you don't want to be seen as an asshole, right?
Yeah, but also too, it's like people are like, "Is David Zaslav saying those things?" Like David Zaslav's not the one that's in the producer side of all this making the decisions. He's not.
And for all we know, maybe he's the one who's like, like he's in favor of them, like getting what the writers bill wants.
Yeah, David Zaslav wants this to happen so that he wants the strike to go on. He wants them to fight for every dollar they can get, so that the talk shows are off the air, so that Ezra Miller doesn't have a reason to not be on the talk shows.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I broke the code.
But you know what sucks about it is that what sucks about the talk shows being off is that because like normally like something like this could have been a time variable now that the Flash series finale pre-arc started.
You know what? Yeah, you would have. I guarantee you, Seth Meyers or Conan, or has Conan even got a show anymore? I don't think he does. Colbert. One of them would have had a grant on next week. Next week there would have been one or more.
Stephen Colbert would have been fun. Because he's been on Seth Meyers already.
Because Melissa went on Jimmy Kimmel, I think, for her final season. At some
point. Usually the lead up to your finale, especially a series finale, they will work the circuit as much as they can get people onto them.
Stephen Amell didn't do that though. He didn't go on any talk shows.
He didn't do talk shows, but in earlier seasons, he went on Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers.
Well, I remember Conan at Comic-Con had all three of them up there, the Trinity.
Yeah, I remember when Grant went on Conan.
That was during the peak. That was during the peak of the Arrowverse when it was cool to have them.
It was cool to have them.
It was cool. Well, hey, at least I don't think Suman Lowe was going on any bunch of talk shows, so
No.
Maybe they'll solve. You know what? I just figured it out, guys. So the only thing more important than Ezra not being on the show is to have Danielle Nicolette do interviews on the shows. So they're going to solve the writer's strike in the next 4 days so that she can be on to promote her finale next week.
Her finale.
And she will sense what the writers and the producers both can agree on and tell them to agree on that. And then she will go on the show and announce her spinoff. Then they'll go back on strike for Ezra.
Because you don't want to completely leave it in the clear for Ezra to do something stupid,
right?
Or say something stupid that Ezra can't take back. That's now that's audio or video.
She will get the two sides to agree to terms for 1 week so that she can promote her finale and her spinoff.
So is it a New World Part 4? It's gonna be still centric for that title, I'm guessing, because the Blues was Part 2. The Blues.
Well,
So
I heard Part 4 is going to be called the Cecileverse.
Okay. So instead of the multiverse, this is Cecileverse, and
Part 3 is Cheddar Wedding, and then Part 4 is Cecileverse.
Oh my god, Cheddar Wedding! I would love if this a New World Part 3 Cheddar Wedding.
Oh god! What about her stripper daughter?
Oh, yeah,
oh my god! I keep forgetting
she'll be in it
about
too.
her.
She'll be in it too.
But
this show has so many loose threads they can't possibly tie up.
Yeah, imagine they got the stripper daughter, but they couldn't get fucking Cisco Ramon. It's like, really?
on that note, it is almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I feel my last braces are giving out. So find out next week what is or what isn't getting renewed on the CW, the Cecile World. There you go. That's what CW stands for.
Cecile World. Ooh, that works well.
I like that.
The Chagra World.
That's Part 5 and 6 of A New World. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be here, of course, next week to cover whatever the fuck happens with the CW.
If there's anything to cover,
if there's anything to cover, I mean, we might just be here staring at paint dry. Who the fuck knows? We do want to thank Canadagraph, Steve, for coming on. Thrill Plane.
Steve.
That's Steve. Thanks, Steve, for being here. And as always, guys, we always end on the greatest note ever, the best video to ever exist ever. I always look for Nora, look for every little detail about this amazing clip.
Nora in next week's episode of The Flash.
Oh yes, yes. So, Cicada, take it away.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Don't believe in Grace.
Bye, Andrew. Bye, Brandon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.